Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
It's Monday night. The Sports Hounds are live in the Real Talk Studios, A2D Radio, Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. Rob Brinkman, he's Brad Ryer. Frank Vesby's producing. As always, the Sports Hounds are brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC. For more information, visit GibsonMayerLLC.com. For more information on all their services, visit GibsonMayerLLC.com. There are certified public accountants. Make them yours, too. Tough day in Philadelphia yesterday, Brad. A tough day for the Philadelphia Eagles. They go to Minnesota. They get embarrassed. They get outclassed. The only saving grace about yesterday was at 4:25, Sam Darnold and the New York Jets took care of the Dallas Cowboys. But you look at the Eagles yesterday, Brad, they got a lot of issues.
Well, starting with their secondary.
Brutal.
I mean, between Rasul Douglas and Sidney Jones, I mean, can you cover somebody? I mean, that was ridiculous. I mean, they turned.
And you have miscommunications with the safeties on at least one of the touchdowns where Malcolm Jenkins is nowhere to be found. Receivers are running open. Kirk Cousins is having himself a day.
He had a field day yesterday. I'll tell you what, that Cook is one hell of a runner.
He's a good player.
He's really good.
And if Kirk Cousins is going to play like that consistently, like the Vikings have something.
Oh, they absolutely do. I mean, listen, they've got a lot of talent in Minnesota. And you know what? To me, the last two games they played, and of course I watched them against the Giants, and I watched them yesterday against the Eagles. They look like a very good football team. I think right now they might be the best all-around team in that division.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to find out a lot about the Lions and the Packers as well tonight. That game's on Monday Night Football. We got baseball on here in the Real Talk Studios. It's a great time to be a sports fan, Brad. We got about to have all four major sports cooking with gas. Basketball's coming in a few weeks.
Yep, it's right around the corner. Hockey has started.
I'm about to find out my draft pick in my fantasy basketball league. Momentarily, it sounds like. Group chat is swarming. But back to the Eagles. I'm struggling to place blame on one person because it was just such a calamity of epic proportions yesterday. I really thought they had a chance to win the game. I thought that their championship resolve was going to come through. I thought that they'd be able to get some heat on Cousins.
Which they really didn't do.
None of that happened at all. Fletcher Cox remains missing. Brandon Graham made a couple of plays, but other than that, not really. Zach Brown, who's been released since I entered the Real Talk Studios tonight to do my show prep.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. He barked his mouth saying Kirk Cousins was the weak link. He didn't. He was writing checks. His talent could not cash, and
his talent
it seems like
yesterday.
It seems like a statement move by Howie Roseman and the organization. No.
Yeah, they're trying to send a message.
They're trying to send a message.
It's
a risky message to send because, he's your starting middle linebacker, and you're about to play the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Nigel Bradham, he's getting a second opinion on his ankle this week. No one really knows his. We'll help you out there.
Oh, sorry about that. Here's the problem right now, Rob, with the Cowboys. Right now, the Cowboys are really banged up. If you look at them, Cooper may not play. The two offensive linemen, they may not play. They're right now they're a banged up team, and if they're going to be missing some of these guys against the Eagles are going to have a golden opportunity to win this game.
The Eagles, I heard a stat today, and I was going to check it out before we went on the air, but I forgot. I saw a stat today that the Eagles have never beaten the Dallas Cowboys when Zeke was active and playing.
Really?
That's what I heard. I find it hard to believe, but then I thought about it. He got
you know
swept
what?
last year.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, he was
You're right. I
he
mean,
was suspended the one time they beat him 2
Yes.
years ago. And they're kind of notorious for these splits with Dallas where they beat him in Dallas and they lose to him at home. Obviously last year they got swept, but you know, I see that stat and then I get the alert that Zach Brown's released. Now look, is Zach Brown good? No, he's an okay player. He hasn't really been doing his job at all, but you know, it's like when you traded Jonathan Sifrian for linebacker depth. Like, you have a secondary that's complete garbage.
well,
Then
they
you're
made-
going
they
away and
made
trading
Stephon-
secondary.
They made Stephon Diggs yesterday look like Jerry Rice. I mean, that was crazy. The kind of game he was having yesterday.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
I mean, listen.
I mean,
he's
look.
a good receiver, but my God, I mean, he was trashing
Now-
him yesterday.
Rasul Douglas, he's a later round draft pick. He's supposed to be a fill-in special teams guy. He's probably more suited to play safety. And I like Rasul Douglas, but he's just not that good. He goes out there, he's physical, he tries his best, but at the end of the day, he's not that good.
Well, he got run, but they
And
ran
Sidney
right past him
Jones,
one time.
for the last time, can we stop with Sidney Jones, people? Sidney Jones can't play. He's one of the worst
He's-
busts in
he's garbage.
recent memory in terms of Eagles draft picks. You spent a second-round pick on him in what was a loaded draft through the first 3 rounds. You take Sidney Jones, you sell us this bill of nonsense that he's a top 10 talent in the second round, and the guy can't play. He doesn't get it. He's all turned around. Adam Thielen's making him look silly, and he just can't play. And I don't know what the deal is with Jenkins and McLeod with all those miscommunications yesterday in the secondary. That can't happen in Week 6.
No, and,
You know, we can't. I know, I get it. No one plays in preseason, but we're past that. It's 6 weeks into the season.
no, it's
You
getting
can't
to
be
a point-
having those.
It's getting to a point right now where you know you need to be concerned. Last year, the secondary wasn't very good. Okay, and it seems to be getting worse by the week this year. And you know, the other thing is the Eagles are continuing to get off to slow starts and finding themselves
Oh, it's
behind
brutal.
in these games.
Their start.
And you know, when you get off to a slow start, you're always behind. You know, you have to abandon the running game, and your offense becomes one-dimensional. And
Yeah, I
that's
mean, you
not-
blinked your eye. I felt like I blinked my eye. They're down 24-3.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, in the third quarter, the Eagles came out smoking
In 4 of the.
and got it close. You know, but and they got it down to 24-20, and then
Yeah, and
like-
you thought that Kirk Cousins was going to get scared and be Kirk Cousins and kind of give you one,
but the
give you
Eagles,
a turnover,
but
and
the
that it
Eagles
just never happened.
The Eagles never put enough pressure
No.
on Kirk Cousins to beat Kirk
No.
Cousins. Kirk Cousins is one of those guys. If he's allowed to sit back there and convey and study the field, he's going to make plays. I mean, he's a big baby and a panicker when he gets rushed. He's not going to make a big play when he gets rushed. But if you let him sit back there and scan the field, he's going to make the right throw most of the time. And, you know, he's pretty accurate when he gets to do that too. And, you know, yesterday the Minnesota Vikings and their receivers really were unstoppable for the Eagles.
Just to finish up with the defense before I switch over to my frustrations with the offense. Basically, I'm frustrated with everyone except for Carson Wentz. Thought he played another good game. I thought he did the best he could with the drops and no one really explosive. But, I mean, Jim Schwartz. I mean, this guy is just not that good. I was livid after the Atlanta game. I thought his defensive call on fourth down on that screen was
Well, I think
absolutely
you're starting
atrocious.
I think you might be right about Atlanta. They're
They're terrible.
A bad football
They
team.
lose to Arizona yesterday. I don't know how Dan Quinn still has a job this morning. That's their one win, the Eagles.
Yeah, no, I know that.
And I told everyone you're going to look back at this game in 4 weeks, and it's a bad loss.
It is a bad loss.
It's a bad loss.
I mean, we didn't.
But-
I didn't think about that at the time. I thought Atlanta's a pretty darn good football team, but there's something very very wrong with that football team.
But now I'm trying to give Jim Schwartz the benefit of the doubt, not have one of my freak out meltdowns on him like I did after the Atlanta game. because he's playing with a really short deck. Rasul Douglas really can't play. Sidney Jones definitely can't play. I'm not sure what McLeod and Jenkins were doing. The pass rush is just non-existent. You really don't have any linebackers that are doing anything. He's playing with a short deck. But I don't understand for the life of me why he does this. He plays his cornerbacks where they don't follow a receiver. They just play one side of the field. They're assigned to one side of the field no matter what happens.
That zone is, the other teams are going to
It's not
score
so
on
much
it.
a zone, but,
Well, it sort
you
of
always
is.
it sort of is. I get what you're
sorta is,
saying,
'cause
but
he-
it
'cause
could
they're
be a
just sitting-
mid.
They're playing an area instead of playing the man.
Not necessarily because they're in cover 4 a lot yesterday.
Yeah.
Where the two corners and the safeties, at least it looked to me. Now I'm not a film guy. I'm just a guy who
You're just watching
watches the
the game,
game and talks about it on the radio here at A2D every Monday. I don't know. I know I've been watching enough games where I can sort of talk intelligently about it. But it looked like yesterday their intention was to play cover 4, where it's a zone and the two corners and the safeties each take a fourth of the field. But then Rasul Douglas is standing flat-footed and Diggs is running by him, and Jenkins is down in the box.
Yeah, Jenkins got fooled.
At what point is it schematic? Like, it just seems like Jim Schwartz should have schematically been able to do better with a short deck of talent.
I would have liked to see him blitz a little more and try to create some turnovers, because Cousins just had all day. And you can't sit there and be stubborn and keep rushing 4 guys if you're not getting enough pressure on the quarterback.
And Fletcher, he busted up some run plays. He did all right. He had 5 tackles. He statistically had a good game, but he doesn't have any sacks. He's getting no push up the middle. I can't really put that on Hassan Ridgeway because you're down to your 4th defensive tackle that's now starting. Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett. Derek Barnett looking week in and week out like another draft pick that just simply can't play. And it's not good right now. Yesterday was a really tough day. But getting back to Schwartz and the schematics of this defense, look, I've seen defenses successfully put one corner on one side, to play the sides like that. No matter who's over there, you got this side, you shut down one half of the field. But the corners you do that with, Revis, Richard Sherman,
Well, yeah. Jalen Ramsey.
Stephen Gilmore, and Jalen Ramsey down in Jacksonville.
Yeah, those
not
are the guys.
Rasul Douglas
and
Sidney Jones.
No. The one play when they had Diggs running down the left side of the field, and Cousins threw the ball more towards the middle, and not only did he beat Rasul Douglas on that play running down the field, but he also was able to run towards the middle to catch the ball and then run at an angle to the right and run into the end zone.
It's a post and no one's there.
It's unbelievable how
you
badly
got Toast Douglas out there. He just runs a post and there's nothing.
He looked like Janoris Jenkins on that play when trying to guard Mike Evans. That's how embarrassingly bad that was.
And then you get to the offense.
Now, that offensive line yesterday was atrocious.
Isaac Seumalo cannot play. I get he was on the Super Bowl team, and he did good. For the life of me, and Peters finally got hurt yesterday. Dillard came in. He did some good things, but, he got shown up. He had blocked Everson Griffin one-on-one pretty much the whole day.
Griffin was...
Who's a really good DN. And I thought he held his own. I think that actually might be a draft pick that can actually play.
Griffin did get past him a lot.
But
I'll tell you who else played a hell of a game for Minnesota defensively was Barr.
Yeah, he was everywhere.
He is a good player.
He was everywhere.
Man, I'll tell you what. The Jets, unfortunately, they tried to sign him. And then he
signed with the Jets. Then he totally changed his mind at the last second.
Yeah, boy, he's
Did you imagine having Barr and a healthy Mosley in the middle of that 3-4 there?
Yeah, I know. It's the Jets. It's unfortunate.
I want to talk about the Jets in a few minutes after we talk about the Eagles' offense and Doug Peterson.
The Eagles' offensive line yesterday, to me, was really
Isaac
disappointing.
Seumalo, he had one terrific game against Green Bay, where they were really able to run the ball, control the line of scrimmage, and do some good things, dominating the trenches like they did in 2017.
This is what I don't understand. How could you be so good in Green Bay and then so bad in Minnesota?
You're talking offensively, because the defense really wasn't that great in Green Bay.
Well, I'm talking about in the trenches, both defensively and offensively.
Yeah.
How good they were.
You're on a short week on the road. Everyone counted them out.
Defense, but I mean, they owned both sides of the ball, trench-wise, in Green Bay. And yesterday, Minnesota just pushed them around.
Yes.
I mean, they really did. They got pushed around. I mean, let's be honest, okay?
Which is disappointing because they have rookies.
That shouldn't
have
happen.
rookies at guard, and their left tackle missed a portion of the game as well. And the Eagles still weren't able to do anything.
Cook was running the ball down their throats, and that guy Madison was doing a hell of a job too. I mean, it wasn't just Cook. You can understand if it was Cook. With Cook.
The Eagles' run defense has
Cook
actually
is
been
good.
pretty stout. I mean, I know that they ran the ball a little bit on them yesterday.
Until yesterday.
How many rushing yards did Minnesota have? Did I miss something?
They had over 100.
I mean, okay. I mean, look.
It just seemed to me
you got to do something. You got to do something at left guard. Like, where's Big V? Big V started at left tackle in the Super Bowl.
He
did a pretty good job.
He was out there, but he was on the bench most of the game.
But if Peters can't go, and I think the left side of the line should be Big V and Dillard.
But they got to do something
on
about
Sunday
the left
night.
side of the left side of the line because
you have Kelsey.
Minnesota was coming like crazy on that side the whole game.
Because you have Kelsey.
Wentz was under siege.
Brooks and Johnson on the right side.
That's
three
fine.
of the best linemen in the league at their respective
That's
position.
fine, but they were coming in on that side pretty. I mean, Wentz was really under siege on that side. Now, what I would have done if I was the Eagles to try to slow that down was throw a couple of screen passes on that side.
They tried, but they're
just
throwing him
seemed
to Alshon Jeffrey, and he just has no burst. I don't know if his calf is still bothering him. He's no burst. Which brings me to the receivers.
Well, what about the what's his name?
Aguilar?
No, not Aguilar. The little guy, Sproles.
He was out yesterday.
He was out. Okay, because I was wondering where he was yesterday.
Yeah, he's
I didn't realize
inactive.
He was out. Oh, okay.
So you have Miles Sanders, who's a running back. He's the only guy that gives you a spark.
Well, they did throw a couple of screen passes to him, and they were very successful with it. If you recall, I mean, it's
he caught the big touchdown. Wentz was on the money, and you saw him make that play with that throw, and you thought, maybe this team's in business. But Nelson Aguilar can't play. He can't play a lick. He broke free again, second week in a row, and just gator-armed the ball.
Yeah,
would have been a
arms.
50-plus yard touchdown.
Yeah.
He beat the guy by 3 yards, and all he's got to do is catch the ball and get his feet down. No one's coming. He beat the guy.
I mean, Alshon
one-on-one,
Jeffrey,
he beat the guy. He's scared of getting hit.
Yeah, Alshon Jeffrey is a beast. He'll go over the middle. He will catch everything he can catch. He will take hits, and he gets right up. I mean, you know who he reminds me of a lot is Brandon Marshall when he was in his prime.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Very similar kind
but
of
his
receiver.
burst is not there, Brad.
Well, he's not a young guy anymore, but he's still a really good target.
He is. And Zach Ertz played horrible yesterday.
Well, I think they keyed on him.
But
the
drops with this team. I mean, Alshon dropped a big fourth down.
They were going after Xavier Rhodes yesterday too, and Xavier Rhodes was getting beat. It just for whatever reason, it just seemed like they couldn't get over the hump yesterday. They got behind, and it just seemed like every time that they made a run,
that brings me to Doug.
Something bad would happen.
That brings me to Doug. 4 of the 6 games this year, the Eagles have scored 0 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, that
0. That can't happen in today's NFL.
No, that can't happen.
Especially with that defense you're trotting out there.
No, they've got to do a better job.
That can't happen.
They got to do a better job in the first quarter.
Like, you go down 7-0 pretty quick. No, they went down 3-0 pretty quick. You get the ball, you run the ball 3 times, and you give it back to them.
Yeah, and then they score
Then
a
your
touchdown.
secondary's so bad that then you're down 10-0 at the blink of an eye.
Right, and they score a touchdown, and then
it was excruciating to watch yesterday. It really was. And then it's compound. Then you're at the end of the half there. It's 24-10. You're in field goal range. And then Doug does that look, I love Doug. I really do. I
That
love
silly,
that.
that silly fake field goal.
I love that he's aggressive. I love that he goes for it on fourth down.
But here's the problem with
And
that call, Rob. Okay?
There's a million things wrong with that call.
Even had they thrown the ball and it was
Yes.
a completed pass, okay? If he didn't get into the end zone, the clock would have run out.
No, you have no quarterback out there to spike the ball.
Yeah. Not only that, but if you make that play and you don't get in the end zone, okay, they're not going to have any time left. It didn't make sense. It seemed to me like it was 24-10, correct?
24-10.
Okay.
You're
If
hoping
you
to make it
if you kick-
24-13.
Yeah, if you kick a field goal and you make it 24-13 at halftime, okay, you've gone from 24-3 to 24-13, and you're getting the opening kickoff.
Correct.
Okay, you got to feel good about yourself. You got to take those.
And they're feeling
points.
they dominated
And-
the first half, and they're
Right.
feeling like, oh, like we
I
don't
can't
really
believe-
have this in
Yeah, I
hand. They're
can't
kind of
believe-
hanging around.
Yeah, I can't believe how well we played, and we're only ahead by 11. You know, and they let him off the hook. You know, and the momentum went right back to him with doing that. I mean, you can't, especially on the road, you can't give away points like that. And I just don't get the
But
risk.
I don't
reward.
understand. Like, where's the reward?
Yeah,
the reward
unless-
is the only thing that could happen. It's like when Gabe Kapler would
but they had
pinch
no-
hit Andrew
they
Knapp.
Had they had no timeouts.
It's
left.
like when Gabe Kapler would always pinch hit Andrew Knapp first off the bench in a big spot. Gabe, the only thing that's good's going to happen is he's going to pop a home run, and then he's killed for the rest of the game, and your backup catcher's done. The only thing that can happen there is you totally catch him sleeping, and you get a cheap touchdown. Then it's 24-17, and then they're really thinking about it.
right, but the odds of that happening are not very good.
I don't want Jake Elliott throwing passes.
No, if you were gonna do a fake, why not have Carson being the holder on that play?
Try and sneak,
Sneak Carson
try
in there,
and
let
yeah.
him be the holder, and then he gets up and he throws the ball. I mean, you have a kicker trying to throw a pass. I mean,
No,
and the
I'm
Minnesota
out.
defense,
And it's not even like the Eagles. Some teams have their backup quarterback hold the snap.
Who they
It's
have,
the punter. It's the punter.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have the punter as the holder, that kind of takes away the opportunity to do that. So I don't really get it. I mean, the risk reward was such, unless you got a touchdown. If he didn't get a touchdown, if he got stopped like on the 2-yard line, there was like 11 seconds left. Okay, what were the odds that the Eagles were going to be able to get to the line again? Okay, and be able to spike the ball and get another play.
No, I mean it's not like there was a minute left.
No, there
It was 23 seconds or
23
whatever it was.
seconds,
Yeah.
but there were no time. They had no timeouts. That's why it
Right.
didn't
So
make
then
sense.
you need the punter to set up players that don't play that much, aren't necessarily offensive
Not-
players,
Not the quarterback.
into a pro set, legitimately lined up, and have them spike the ball. So you can maybe have one shot at the end
Well, yeah,
zone,
what are you
maybe
gonna do?
two.
Are you going to take one shot?
Odds are, even if it
you might
worked,
get one play, and you probably end up kicking the field goal.
and then
anyway.
what? It's 8 yards closer.
Yeah, I mean, it made no sense. And your kicker is money. He's not going to miss. So it made no sense because you know what? You basically gave 3 points away, and you guys were on a big run. And you know, if you get those 3 points, you know, all of a sudden, instead of it being 24, they got it to 24-20. Instead of being 24-20, it's 24-23. And then Minnesota really has something to think about.
And then Doug today, his explanation on it was really not that good. And then, look, everyone wants to bury Doug today because he somewhat guaranteed victory. First off, I didn't hear it like that, folks. I know that it's a sexy tweet for the Schefters and the Rappaports out there to tweet that he guaranteed victory over Dallas. If you actually listen to the sound clip, he was on the morning show, the 94.1 morning show with Angelo Cataldi. He said he thought that, you know, they had a good chance to win the game. And I'm paraphrasing a little. I don't have the quote right in front of me. He's confident and thinks they have a good chance to win the game.
As he should be.
So that blowed up into Doug Peterson's guaranteeing victory, this, that, and the other. First off, it was far from a Broadway Joe
No, it wasn't
moment
like that at all.
guaranteeing what I did before the Packers game.
Right.
That's a Broadway Joe guaranteeing
by the
victory.
Way, by the way,
I'm supremely confident.
By the way, your reputation is restored after that.
My reputation's not really that good, so like you can stake everything, and you really don't lose that much.
Well, I won that bet, so thank you very much.
Yes. Well, I mean, I just knew that they were going to win that game. Sometimes you have these feelings, and you got to go with your gut. Now, I feel good about this Dallas game. I know that sounds weird because we just buried the Eagles for about a half hour.
Yeah, but you know what? It seems like with the
Doug
Eagles,
seems like he watched the film after the game and saw a bunch of minor mistakes that can be corrected, other than the secondary, because that can't really be fixed.
Well, I'll tell you what,
unless
though, Rob,
you get
if Cooper can't play next week,
offensively, let's just look at the offense. I think Doug watched the offensive film and saw a bunch of stuff, bunch of little things that added up to big things that he thinks he can correct before going down to Dallas in a huge game.
I don't think Dallas's defense is as good as Minnesota's defense. Quite honestly,
Dallas's defense got torched yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching Dallas's defense. Dallas's defense was great against bad teams, but as soon as they started playing against good teams, they really aren't that good at all. They're not. Minnesota's defense is significantly better than Dallas.
I agree with you. So anyone who wants to kill Doug for being confident heading into Dallas, what's he supposed to do? Oh, we're going to go down there and lose.
No, he's not going to say
that. Maybe we'll win, maybe we'll lose. I remember 2 weeks back in June, Andy McPhail saying, Philly's president, saying, well, we're going to try and make the playoffs. If we do, we do. We don't, we don't. And everyone killed him for that. So you're damned if you do, and you're damned what you don't with this fella. If anyone has a problem with Doug Peterson being confident heading into Dallas in what is probably the biggest game since the Super Bowl, and definitely the biggest game Carson Wentz has ever played, you come sit down right here. We used to have someone that sat right here, and take your medicine, because I'll torch you. What's he supposed to say, folks? We stink. We're probably not going to stop them.
Couple of things that the Eagles may have going for them. Dallas is not going to have their full complement of offensive linemen. Okay, and as I said before,
doesn't look that way. No.
Cooper's got a thigh injury and he's questionable for.
I'd be shocked if he was inactive.
I'd be shocked if he played.
You'd be shocked if he played.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he played because
a thigh contusion, really?
No, he has a pulled muscle in his thigh.
Oh, that's not what I read.
Oh well, that's I was
read
reading
a
today.
thigh contusion,
and
he's questionable.
Yeah, he's questionable. But you know what? If he's questionable and he's banged up, he's not going to be as effective. You know what? Dallas to be completely whole, they need their offensive line to shine, and they need to have they need to have Cooper. If they don't,
we're getting to your comments. I know we're got a lot to say. It was an ugly day for the Philadelphia Eagles. We're gonna get to your comments in one thing. Last thing before we get to the comments, it does appear that Eagles reinforcements are on their way. Looks like Jalen Mills is going to practice this week. Looks like Ronald Darby has a good chance to play. Now, I know that that's not Jalen Ramsey and Deion Sanders. I understand that. But Sidney Jones and Rasul Douglas can't cut it.
No.
And it looks like Deshaun Jackson might have a chance to play, which this team desperately needs someone to stretch the field.
He had a few more weeks to go, but I mean,
it looks like he's going to try and practice on Wednesday and later in the week, and hopefully try and play.
That would be huge.
I don't care. He doesn't have to practice to play, in my opinion. And honestly, at this point, with the state of this offense and how inept they are from an athletic speed standpoint, I would put the threshold, if he's 70%, I would run him out there.
Yeah,
they need someone.
Even as a decoy.
Right.
I mean, he gives you the home run every
all right,
time.
Let's get to some. Michael Kleinkoff, catch Michael Kleinkoff, Pittsburgh native. Big win by the Steelers last night, by the way. Third string quarterback. You catch him on the Hockey App Hour every Thursday, 10 o'clock. He says, what's up? What's up, Michael? Mark Monique, got to move on. We need a cornerback. Mark, I hear you. They need a cornerback, but what's your plan? The Jaguars aren't trading Jalen Ramsey. I'm sick of hearing about Jalen Ramsey. If they were going to trade Jalen Ramsey, They would have done it already. Every second they wait to trade Jalen Ramsey, and I say this all the time, whether it's hockey, football, baseball, or basketball, whenever someone demands a trade, the longer teams wait to trade them, the less they get.
And also, the
Every
less likely
time.
they're going to be moved, too.
Every time. Jalen Ramsey ain't getting traded.
No,
He's not getting
I
traded.
don't think so. I don't think he's getting
Is Patrick Peterson a possibility out of Arizona?
traded. Yeah, but he's old already.
Yeah, but you need somebody.
I know, but
you
how
can't.
is he really going to be the answer? I understand he's an upgrade, but I mean, it's not like he's not. I don't think he's a lockdown player anymore.
But
I mean, he's a good player.
Are you saying he
still.
wouldn't help the secondary?
Oh, he would, but I mean,
That's all we're looking for.
He is past his prime, though.
And he's not going to cost you multiple first-round picks like a Ramsey would.
No, he'd probably a fourth rounder.
Michael Kleinkoff checks back in. Got a lot of fake fans quitting on the team already. How you feel about that? Look, I hate it. Look, let's just relax. Let's step off the Ben Franklin Bridge, the Walt Whitman Bridge, whatever your bridge of choice is when the Philadelphia teams are doing bad. Let's just look at it logically. They got torched yesterday. They got embarrassed. They got outclassed. No getting around it.
But it's only
it
one
was
game.
bad. They're 3-3. Dallas is 3-3. The Redskins are no threat, and all due respect to your New York Giants, they're not a threat to win the division.
The Giants will win 6 games this year, maybe 7. So unless the Eagles and Dallas are only going to go 7-9, the Giants aren't going to be a threat.
I mean 9-7.
Well, no, 7-9.
Oh well.
If the Eagles and Dallas go 7-9,
I mean,
then
after what I saw yesterday,
the Giants are going to be a threat.
Okay?
Eight
wins might win this division. After what I saw yesterday,
9-7. At 9, I think a team could win 9 games and win this division right now.
I think you're right.
It seems to me that right now, the NFC Central the NFC North is dominating the.
Well,
NFC
you have
East. And
the East is the worst division in the NFC.
Yeah, the East is getting torched.
Because you have the Saints and Carolina in the South. San Francisco and Seattle are really good teams out west, and you have 4 teams really in the North.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All 4 of those teams are.
So you got a one big bid division.
I mean, you look at the.
Gotta win Sunday.
The Eagles have lost 2.
Chips are down Sunday night.
Lost 3 big NFC games, conference games to the.
Yeah, but I don't even care.
The Lions.
All that's irrelevant at this point, Brad, because the Cowboys aren't getting a wild card and the Eagles aren't getting a wild card.
That's the whole thing. You have to win the division this year.
So
yeah,
8 wins, 9 wins, whatever it takes. You win the division, you get a home game, and then Giants won a couple Super Bowls when they were 9-7.
Well, no, the one year they were 10-6 one year, or were they 11-5? I can't remember. No, they were 10-6 and then 9-7.
John Malmos.
As long as you win the division, as long as you're in the playoffs, you have a shot. If you're hot and you're able to, get the guys playing at the top of their games, anything can happen. I mean, it's
Michael Kleinkoff. Yeah, I buried the lead. We got the poll question tonight, brought to you by Doc Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, 3 great locations. No appointment necessary. Visit specializedphysicaltherapy.com for more information. Poll question tonight. The Eagles will beat the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. I'm going to reluctantly say agree. For the same reasons I thought they were going to beat the Minnesota Vikings. They have a better coach and they have a better quarterback.
Here's the reason I'm going to disagree is because I just can't see the Cowboys losing 4 in a row.
It's a Cowboys thing to do, though.
No, I understand.
But, who do you trust more in a big spot, the Eagles or the Cowboys? My answer is the Eagles.
Yeah, but on the road, they just haven't been very good. That's the problem. The Eagles have the championship pedigree, and, they could flash that pedigree at any time. But there seems like there's something inherently wrong this year with this year's Eagles. There's just something is not right this year. And, I did say at the beginning of the season that I would be a little concerned that I think a lot of their players are getting old. And speaking of that, it looks like Bryce Blackwell, who sent a little note on YouTube, happens to agree with me that they have the third oldest roster, and it's not a good sign. And
Well, they don't draft well.
Yeah, he said they haven't drafted well since 2011 at the end of the Andy Reid era, and they need an upgrade. And Bryce, you're right about that. Let's see who else. I'm just getting to some of the comments. Dwayne
read 'em off.
Aldridge.
What's up, Dwayne?
Carson Wentz was the only one who was pissed, and I don't know about that. I mean, I think they were all a little upset about that. David Roska is in mourning, obviously, about his Rams. And the Ducks.
The boy wonder, Sean McVay.
He's already
Not looking like the boy wonder he once was.
He's getting all excited because the Ducks. He wants the Ducks to come out and play strong against Buffalo and score some goals. Well,
Buffalo looks pretty good.
Yeah, Buffalo. Well, Buffalo's has been collecting young players for quite a while now. It's about time that team.
They're like the
shows
Canucks,
us.
but the Sabres are ahead of the
They're
Canucks.
ahead of the Canucks because they have Jack Eichel, who's a superstar, and the Canucks do not have a superstar right now.
Kyle checks in.
Their best player is probably JT Miller at this point, so I don't know.
Kyle checks in. Eagles will beat the Cowboys. Have a great show. Kyle's going to the game, so it's definitely safe travels to Kyle. Hopefully he can bring us home a win. Some rare positivity from Kyle.
Very good.
Very interesting.
Good. As I said, the only reason that I would be picking Dallas is because I just can't see them losing 4 in a row, and that's not a very scientific pick by me. It's just I just can't see that happening.
You have two teams that are 3-3
and
that
are
are inconsistent, flawed teams, and the writing's on the wall for them that they have to win this game because you have to win the division if you want to go to the playoffs in the NFC.
Yeah, Dallas really gave themselves a very bad loss yesterday against the Jets. Now, I know that Sam Darnold coming back obviously was huge for the Jets. It completely changed the outlook of that
They
football
didn't look
team.
the part. And
the offense, the Jets' offense, was
they got some.
Was very good yesterday because they have their quarterback, and as I've been saying,
they got a couple of nudges from the Zebras late in that game as well to make that competitive.
Oh, the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Nudges.
I don't like to talk about refs here on the show, but
that was ridiculous. I mean, the NFL clearly was trying to get Dallas a victory there, and it didn't. It didn't.
Well, they wanted to raise the profile of their primetime game next week.
Right. Well,
because the Eagles spit the bit a few hours earlier.
They also love the overrated Dak Prescott, and I think
he really isn't that good.
No, he's not. He's not that good. Listen, the only thing Dak Prescott does well is throw inside the numbers, and he's got pretty good mobility. So, by the way, the Washington Nationals have just taken a 1-0 lead as Adam Eaton once again is a thorn in the side of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Hey, good team, man.
I
want to get to some baseball. Let's get into
I'll tell you what, Adam Eaton has really been unbelievable in this series so far. I mean, I don't know how much of this series you've watched, but I've watched most of these games, most of the innings of these games, and
I've been glued to baseball.
Adam Eaton has really
baseball's
been.
I didn't really see much of the Yankees game last night. Not much. I was sleeping. But
I understand.
I've been glued to the TV with these baseball players. They've been absolutely fantastic. One of the best I've remember in years, maybe since 2003, when it was the Cubbies and the Marlins and the Yankees and the Red Sox having great games every night. Both CSs went 7 games. Maybe I'm missing something along the way there. 2003 was a long time ago. But let's get to Chrome. Michael Wesley Chromiak. Chromiak stars on tomorrow. Birds of a Feather, 8 o'clock. I'm sure him and Chucks will have a lot to break down in terms of that difficult Eagles loss. Chrome also stars on Niche Night with In This Very Ring, talking some wrestling. Hey, fellas, tough loss, but could be worse. We could be the Cowboys. Birds win this week 34-27. Interesting score.
I think that's a little high.
I think that's a little high as well. Yeah. I like the under.
Yeah, I think it's more.
We'll get the early leans in the second hour. See what the over-under is.
I think it's going to be more like a 20-17 type game.
Yeah, that's a lot of points. I mean, I hope that the Eagles can score that many points. That'd be nice.
That would be.
So that means the line's blocking and Carson's doing good and someone's stretching the field and making plays.
Yeah, and it would mean that the Eagles' defense is playing a little bit better. The only thing I worry about, as I said, I think the Eagles can win the game because I don't know if Dallas is going to have. It's hard on a Monday when we don't have the injury report for Wednesday, who's practicing and who's not.
Yeah.
To be able to make a bold statement like that, who you think is going to win. Again, the only thing I'm thinking is that I just can't believe that Dallas is really going to lose 4 in a row. But it could happen.
I wouldn't put it past him. Jason Garrett, I mean, I don't understand what he does out there.
He claps a lot.
Yeah, he gets the
Yeah, he claps a lot.
and he
but
gets the spit going.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
puts his thing.
Yeah. The Giants had a bit of good news today. All 4 guys that were out last week, all 4 offensive players, Shepard, Evan Ingram,
Barkley.
and Gallman, all practiced today. So now Shepard is still in concussion protocol, so he was wearing the red jersey. But just the fact that they were all on the field today, that's a big plus because, I mean, if
The Giants look like they hit on the kid,
he
Daniel
looks-
Jones.
I mean, listen, you can't blame him for what happened last week against New England.
No.
He had
was a
none of his weapons. The Giants were very careless with the football last week. I mean,
you have the special teams. You have the special teams mistake.
The punter.
They're playing good. They're
Yeah.
doing good on Thursday. Then they get the special teams mistake, and then it kind of unraveled from there.
Yeah, it did, but I mean, it was 14.
And that dope fumbled on the Patriots to help you guys out as well.
Yes, but I mean, they were getting some pressure on Brady. I mean, if you look at it, the Giants' defense really only gave up 14.
Well, the Patriots'
14 points
offense
last week.
looks out of sort.
Yeah, but their defense
Is
is
very
ferocious
good,
this year.
But they haven't played anybody.
Stephon Gilmore is just
He's really good.
Yeah, he's really good.
Jeff Lohmeyer, thanks for checking in. Jeff, I honestly think a deal is about to go down. No way how it can continue to stand pat with the division/conference as tightly contested as it is.
It's not.
I hope
it's,
Jeff.
This isn't. Listen, here's the problem, guys. This isn't baseball, and this isn't hockey, and it's not basketball. You don't generally see a lot of trades in football. You just don't. It's not a sport that's conducive to a lot of trades.
You missed it. I just don't know who they get. 'Cause, who are the really bad teams? What is there? 3 teams that are just don't have a chance at playoffs: the Dolphins, the Bengals, and the
Dolphins, the Bengals, and the Redskins. Yeah.
Those are really the only 3 teams that I can
Josh Norman.
legitimately say
Josh Norman
have
maybe?
no chance at the playoffs.
Joe Kerrigan. I mean, I'm looking at the Redskins.
Maybe Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta has some talent. And there are players that you could get on it from Atlanta that.
But
that would probably
even
work.
Arizona, they have, except for Peterson, they kind of got
they got
a lot of young guys.
Yeah, and they're getting better. They're getting better.
They've been in every game. Denver, everyone keeps talking about Emmanuel Sanders, Von Miller. They won again yesterday. They've been in every game. They got robbed against the Bears in week 2.
Yeah,
They've been every game. They beat San Diego. They beat Tennessee at home.
And Kansas City now.
I don't see them
has
selling
dropped
the
off
farm.
a little bit. They have 2 losses now.
And the Raiders, who I thought were going to be bad, are 3-2.
Tied for first place.
Going to play Green Bay at Green Bay
That's gonna
next
be a
week.
loss.
That'll be
That'll be a
it's a measuring stick game.
Yeah, they're going to be measured all right. They're going to get crushed.
Mark Monique still thinks the Eagles go 10-6.
With that schedule, I don't know.
We'll
You're
have to
asking
see
a lot.
about that.
You're asking a lot for them to go 10. I mean, they still all right. They have 2 games against the Giants.
But
and
Brad,
have
what
a
if they
game-
win the next 2, which isn't out of the question, not impossible? They beat Dallas and they beat Buffalo. They go 2-1 on the 3-game road trip, and you're 5-3 through 8.
Yeah, but you know what? You have to look at some of the other games they got to play yet.
I
They have
understand.
to play Dallas again. They
Okay.
have to play New England.
Okay, but you also have
You
the
have to-
Redskins
you have to
again.
play
You also have the Giants twice, who you
right.
should win.
But you also
That's
have to
3
play-
more there.
But you have to play Seattle too. That's going to be
Okay.
That's going to be a
At
really
least it's
tough
at
game.
home.
Yes, true. But I mean,
New
Seattle's
England. New England is going to be a hard game, but that's at home as well.
But how many games is that? 1, 2, 3. That's 4 really tough games.
If you beat the Giants, let's say you win the next 2, You beat Dallas, you beat Buffalo. You're 5-3.
Okay, you got 2 wins against the Giants and 1 against the Redskins.
That's
so that's
8
wins. So
I think they can beat the Bears. I don't think the Bears haven't impressed me at all on offense at all. Defense is spectacular. Don't get me wrong.
I just have a feeling
that game's also at home.
Let me ask you a question, and I know a lot of people are going to start laughing when I say this, but suppose the Bears were to pick up Eli Manning.
I don't know. I don't know anything about. No, because Trubisky's going to play again this year.
When?
It was I don't know, but he didn't need surgery, and it was in his non-throwing shoulder.
Okay. I understand that it's his non-throwing shoulder, but he's kind of a sitting duck back there.
He can move a little bit.
I realize that, but shoulder injuries are tough. Even if it's your non-throwing shoulder, when you're the quarterback, I mean, one big hit, and he's gone.
Okay,
for the
so
season.
let's say you win those 3. You lose to Seattle. You lose to New England. You steal 1 against the Bears, and you sweep Dallas. That's your 10 wins.
Okay.
That's 10-6. It's not.
It's
like
not
I know it
impossible.
looks bad right now, folks, but
No, it's
the
not.
season's not over. They're tied for first.
And they could get on a hot streak.
The Giants and the Redskins, when push comes to shove, I think are going to roll over to the Cowboys, and
I think
for
the
the
Redskins
Cowboys and
will.
the
I don't
Eagles.
think the Giants are going to roll over.
They're not going to roll over. But I would be
they're gonna give-
surprised
I
if
think they're
they
gonna
beat the Cowboys or the Eagles in a big spot. Where the
I
Dallas,
would be-
where
I would be surprised too, but don't take the Giants too lightly.
I wouldn't take
I
them
think
light. You're
they're-
still going to take them serious.
I think they're a vastly improved team this year. Their record may not show it at the end of the season, but they're a lot more competitive this year than they were last year. I think their defense is starting to has come a long way, although they really got smoked by Minnesota. So you'd have to be worried about that. But I thought the defense played well in New England. I mean, they're getting better. It seems to me that team is getting better every week. They're not ready to make a playoff run. I still think they're at least a year away.
Peter Evans checks in. Friday night crew. Philly sports guys. Friday nights 8:00. Agree with the poll. Just need to be more consistent. Tell me about it, Pete. I couldn't.
Yeah, everybody here. D Love is reminding us that they play the Dolphins, and
That's also they play.
Yeah,
Yep,
we
I forgot
about
the
them.
Dolphins.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
So there's
You're
a
right.
path to 11 wins.
There is, but
I get it. I get it.
They've been so
This
inconsistent.
NFL, it's a fickle league, and if you get a big win in prime time on the road against Dallas, it can really snowball.
Yeah, but I'll tell you a game they're going to have a lot of trouble with is Buffalo.
It's going to be a hard game.
That's going to be
But at least they match up well with Buffalo. Like, they don't really have any receivers that.
No, but the thing is,
like
though,
Diggs and Thielen.
but they have the running quarterback who and the Eagles seem to have a lot of trouble with those.
Well,
kind
I mean,
of
a lot of
players.
people have a lot of trouble with running quarterbacks.
Yeah, they do. But I mean, it just seems like the Eagles against quarterbacks with a lot of mobility, they seem to have a problem. I for one don't think that they're going to beat the Cowboys twice. I'd be very surprised. I think they will.
Still, if you split with the Cowboys, that's 10 wins. If you take care of
Right.
business against the Dolphins, the Redskins, the Giants twice.
That's 4 more wins, and they have 3 right now, so that's 7. That should be 7 easy wins.
That's
7
4 more, 3, 7.
Right.
You're going to have to beat the Bears, and you got to beat the Bills.
Not going to be easy.
No, it's not going to be easy.
No.
This is the NFL.
And you also have Seattle.
I mean,
and
for
New
not
England.
even having a first-place schedule, I mean, it's pretty hard. And then I see the Patriots schedule
It's one of
as a first-place schedule.
It's amazing
a joke.
that it's amazing they have such a difficult schedule this year. The Eagles. The Cowboys don't have as tough a schedule as the Eagles do.
No, and they're supposed to have a harder schedule.
It didn't work out that way though.
Did not. Jeff Lohmeyer, chunk runs inflated their total. Yeah, but I mean that's a that's a problem, Jeff. I mean, Jeff Lohmeyer from Minnesota at least. Yeah, I mean, but chunk runs, like you can't have chunk runs against Dallas. Zeke, you can't let Zeke get chunk runs because then Dak gets in a rhythm and the crowd gets into it and it steamrolls. Jeff Lohmeyer used Sanders in a Kamara type role, motion him out of the backfield and get that linebacker matchup. The real route is deadly. I mean, that's really been their only big play option is Sanders out of the backfield on big plays. He's made the biggest play from scrimmage offensively for the Eagles 4 of the 6 games this year.
David Roscoe wants the Rams to go get Melvin Gordon. I don't think San Diego's going to trade him, David, especially to the Rams. To be honest with, well, no,
San Diego,
San
blow.
Diego is not San Diego.
The Chargers blow.
The Los Angeles Chargers.
They should trade him because the
they
Chargers blow. I'm sorry, but they just blow. I mean, every year it's the same thing. They have all this talent, this, that, and the other, and Philip Rivers can't win a big game.
No, he never does.
He can't win a big game. I'm sick of the Chargers.
Yeah, no, you're right about the Chargers.
John Skeel, bullshit. Jeffrey has been Butterfingers this season. Big drop on 4th down yesterday. Zach Ertz, big drop on 3rd down. This team can't catch the ball consistently. I agree with you, buddy. Deion Brown, what's up, fellas? So much went on yesterday. Where do I begin? Our corners are killing us. I get it. We are 3 starters down in Mills, Maddox, and Darby. Douglas played like it was his first time playing the NFL. SMH. I mean, you can't have Douglas on a burner like that. He's not twitchy enough. He doesn't have good enough feet. He doesn't have good enough speed to do that. So he was set up to fail by our defensive coordinator, and he really needs to redeem himself this week against Dallas.
He's gonna have to have a bet. He's gonna have to bet.
He's got to call a better game.
Yeah, he's gonna have to have a better.
I get you got a short deck, Jim, but you scheme it a little better. Got to scheme it a little better.
Yeah, and for God's sakes, you can't let Zeke get loose.
And I don't know where the disconnect is with his team captain, Malcolm Jenkins, and these safeties when they're clearly supposed to be in cover 4. At least Rasul Douglas thinks they're supposed to be in cover 4. Whether Rasul Douglas is correct or not.
I saw them giving each other low fives on the bench after one of the big mistakes yesterday.
I mean, the one was clearly Malcolm Jenkins.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was out to lunch. He wasn't paying attention. I don't know.
No, he was watching. What happened? I think he was watching Kyle Rudolph and paying attention to Kyle Rudolph and not paying any attention to Stephon Diggs. Yeah.
Hector Barrios Ortiz, I believe we are just an average team. We are not Super Bowl contenders. Certainly doesn't look at it right now.
No.
But, they lost 48-7 to the Saints last year. Everyone counted them out, and they were an Alshon Jeffrey drop away from the NFC Championship game.
We can't take that away from you. But you're right about that.
So
you're right about that. And,
this league is funny. You get a big win Sunday, it can steamroll, especially a big division rivalry game like this.
The bottom line is, you can't win a division in September and October, but you can sure as hell lose a division in September and October. You got to win in December, and we'll see with the Eagles. I mean, if they can find a way these next 2 games to get 2 W's, you know what? They'll be right in the. They'll be clearly in the.
That's 5-3, and
they'll be in the. They're
going back to the Super Bowl again.
And the Cowboys have a lot of tough games coming up too. I mean, let's not forget the Cowboys still have to play the Lions. They still have to play Minnesota. And they're going to have to play the Bears. They haven't played any of those teams yet.
Jeff Lohmeyer, he wants Sanders running more routes. Hector Ortiz, this game will depend on how many points we score in the first half. If we score 10 points again, we're not winning this game. Yeah, Hector, we talked about it at the top of the show. For the 6 games, the Eagles have 0 first-quarter points. So that's a huge problem. You got to start better. Maybe you take the ball instead of deferring every time. Try and get something going off the bat.
Well, they want to get the ball to start the second
Jeff
half.
Lohmeyer brings up an interesting name from the Atlanta Falcons in Desmond Trufant. It's an interesting name. See if anything develops there if they keep losing. Ralphie checks in. Check out Ralphie on The Fix with Frank every Wednesday, 6 p.m. right here on ATD Radio. Zach Brown stuff has me wondering. Look, they didn't release Brian Urlacher. Let's not get carried away here. But when you're short a linebacker and Bradham, and it was clearly a statement.
Oh, absolutely.
Cut. They're trying to get everyone's attention that you got to play good or you're going to be out.
Right, and to wake everybody up because they're not obviously. Yesterday was a bad game for them. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Their secondary yesterday got embarrassed, and they know that they can play better than that.
Our buddy Jesse Ramon Nichols
The Cowboy fan.
The Cowboy fan. Have you seen the Cowboy schedule? No, but I would imagine it's hard.
It's going to be hard because
The Eagles and the Cowboys got a tough draw because they have to play the NFC North, which is the only division in the NFL with 4 legitimate playoff contenders.
Yeah, and the Cowboys have not played any of those teams yet.
No, they've played the Redskins and the Dolphins and the Giants
And
the Jets, who they couldn't beat. So
right. So and the
let's
no,
not
they
let's
played-
also
I'm
not
sorry,
make
they
it
played-
seem like the
they
Eagles are
played the
playing the
Packers.
85 Bears
No.
on Sunday. They're not.
No. Oh, the
Cowboys are
Cowboys?
flawed. The Cowboys are inconsistent.
The Cowboys are.
And the Eagles went to Lambeau and
average.
beat the Packers,
Yeah.
and the Cowboys got embarrassed by the Packers
At
in
home.
Jerry World.
Yeah, at home they got
So-
they got humiliated, and really there's no excuse for them to lose to the Jets yesterday.
Jeff Lohmeyer makes another good point about the Cowboys. The interaction or lack thereof between Garrett and his players coming off the field, I think they're starting to maybe fall apart a little bit. I saw what you saw, Jeff, and it's a great point. Jeff, he spits and he claps his
Yeah,
hands. And
they weren't
they weren't really high-fiving back at all.
No.
I mean,
No, they were annoyed because you talk about a team that they got embarrassed yesterday. The Cowboys when it was what was it? It was 24-6, wasn't it?
yeah.
I mean,
and Deion Brown,
they
yes,
were getting
Zach Brown
embarrassed.
has been cut from the football team, and Deion says he's comfortable with Nate Jerry in the middle until Bradham gets back.
Oh, boy.
I hope you're right.
Oh boy.
Wow, look at the Nationals. They really blew it open here.
Yes, they
4-0.
did.
Let me check out YouTube before we take a break.
At Strasburg is cruising.
Bryce, we got to that. Nitro Freak, have a great show. A couple of baseball comments. This Wednesday night, my Anaheim Ducks will face off against the Buffalo Sabres. That's from Rosca. We'll get to some hockey later. Flyers looking the part, passing the sniff test, if you will.
So far
in the early season.
So far, so good, but they haven't really played a
Bryce
good
Blackwell.
team. So
Eagles have to draft better. It's been poor since 2011 at the end of the era. We have had the 3rd oldest roster. We need to do better.
he's right.
David
David Rosca, the Chargers don't have balls. Frank Gordon to the Rams, and the Browns to trade Odell Beckham. And you mean Melvin Gordon, David?
Okay.
Look, Odell Beckham is not getting traded.
No.
Okay, there is no way the Browns are
They
trading.
might. I mean, that
Nah.
coach is lost. Kitchens is lost.
What did
out
I
there.
tell you about that team?
You-
at the
you
beginning
nailed
of the
it.
Season?
You nailed it.
I mean, there's too many. There's too many egos on that team, and they're not a well-rounded team. They don't have any offensive line. Their secondary.
I mean, you nailed it.
Their
You nailed it
secondary
with
is.
the.
Their second, they have a good front line and they have good corners, but they don't have a good secondary. Their safeties aren't all that good. They're the Browns right now are not a good team. They look totally dysfunctional. Baker has come down to earth this season. He hasn't been all that in a bag of chips.
It's been horrible.
Yeah, so and it serves him right. You want to go dissing the Giants, Baker. By the way, the Giants have just as many wins as you do. And
Yeah.
by the way, Daniel Jones has just as many wins as you. So, you want to keep burying Daniel Jones for whatever reason. I have no idea what your problem is with Daniel Jones. Go ahead. But
I don't understand why he cares.
But yeah, you know what? You stink right now, Baker.
All right.
Stink. You're 2-4.
Let's take our break. HUG Radio, the Sports Hounds, will be back right after this. Talk some MLB playoffs, go around the NFL, and do our early leans, our way too early weekend football playoff predictions, pro and college. Sports Hounds, A2D Radio, will be back right after this. Welcome back, Sports Hounds, A2D Radio, Real Talk Studios, brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC. There are certified public accountants. Make them yours as well. For more information about their services, visit GibsonMayerLLC.com. Talking a lot of Eagles, a lot of football. Poll question tonight, brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. Dr. Paul Vidal, 3 convenient locations, no appointment necessary. Visit SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com for more details. Poll question tonight, Eagles will beat the Cowboys on Sunday. I know it's early, but I'm going to agree. Brad, I know you think that you don't see the Cowboys losing 4 straight. The Eagles might lose. I don't know about this team. A lot of flaws, but I'm encouraged by Doug Peterson's confidence.
Well,
on the offensive side of the ball.
I mean, that is good news. The
And
Cowboys have been playing really poorly, but I just feel like, you know what, I think that the Eagles will bring the best out of the Cowboys. Maybe I'm wrong, but, you know, if the Cowboys can't get up for the Eagles and get themselves going against the Eagles, then you really have to question that team for the rest of the season. You really do, because with their upcoming schedule, I mean, it is not going to be easy for them.
I want to bring up the Cowboys schedule, and I want to kind of
there are a lot of losses that are going to be on that schedule, by the way.
the official site of the Dallas Cowboys schedule. Because they have 3 wins against – they beat the Giants 35-17. They beat the Redskins 31-21. They beat the Dolphins 31-6. Then they got spanked by Green Bay, New Orleans, and the Jets. Now it's week 7. They're going to play the Eagles.
I give them a win for that.
Then they're going to have their bye week. Then they're at New York.
I give them a win there, too.
So you have them 5-3.
Right. Then they play
And
Minnesota.
I'm assuming you're going to have the Eagles 4-4.
Yes.
Okay. So game back. Then it gets dicey for the old Dallas Cowboys. Then you're home against Minnesota.
That's a loss.
Then you're at Detroit.
That's a loss.
Then you're at New England.
That's a loss.
Then you're home against Buffalo.
That's probably a win.
At the Bears.
That's a loss.
Home against the Rams.
The Rams are going to need that game to make the playoffs. That's a win for the Rams. That's a loss for the Cowboys.
Especially, at L.A.
Right.
No, I'm sorry. That's in Jerry World.
Doesn't matter. The Rams are a better team.
Then they got to come to Philly.
That's a loss.
And then they close with the Redskins.
That's a win.
Tough sledding. I mean, look at weeks 10 through 16 for this team.
Yeah.
Minnesota home, at Detroit, at New England, home against Buffalo, at the Bears. Going to be cold there.
Mm-hmm.
It does look like that is a primetime game, so that's a Thursday game in December in Chicago.
They're going to lose that game.
So it's going to be cold, windy. Rams.
I have them being 2-5. I have them being 2-6.
So you have them getting the 5-3.
They could be 7-9 this year, very easily. I mean, they've got a real tough schedule. My God.
You're not wrong.
I mean, remember, they got destroyed by the Green Bay Packers. Okay, they lost to New Orleans, and New Orleans had their backup quarterback playing. They didn't have Drew Brees. Okay?
They're valid points, Brad.
They lost to the Jets. That was the Jets. Now, I get it that, the Jets are a completely different team with Sam Darnold in there, but the Cowboys need to win that game. The Jets still didn't have Mosley defensively. I mean, that's not championship football. And the Cowboys are going to have their work.
I wouldn't classify the Eagles or the Cowboys as championship
the Cowboys are going to have
right now.
the Cowboys are going to have their work cut out for them to try to make the playoffs.
Their only saving grace is that they took care of business.
Yeah, but they don't have those games left anymore.
In the early, but at least they won them. At least they didn't drop one of them.
Well, yeah, okay, I hear that, but you know what? The Eagles get to play the Redskins again. They still have 2 against the Giants. Okay, they haven't played Miami yet, which Dallas has already gotten to do. So, I mean, the Eagles still have all those games in their back pocket. So and Dallas doesn't. Dallas has already won those games. They're going to have to go out and they're going to have to beat a lot of these tough teams, and that's
All right,
not going to
so
be
you
easy.
have the Eagles are 3-3 right now. So you have them splitting the next two
Yes.
against Dallas and Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't think that's an unreasonable.
So that's 4-4.
Right.
Then you're home against the Bears on November 3rd. That's got to be a win.
Boy, I don't know. I can't sit here and say that's
Well,
definitely.
it's got to be a win because the next two you get a bye week. Then you got New England coming to town.
Well, here's my question for you.
I'm more confident they
Regarding-
can beat the Patriots than they can beat the Seahawks.
Let me ask you this, and this is in regards to the Bears. Okay, do you not think that the Bears are gonna have a big circle around that game?
Yeah, I mean the Eagles knocked them out.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, again,
I think
that's
that
gonna
revenge
be.
that revenge factor that's overrated.
Oh, I don't think it is. I think there's definitely something to that, and
I love fading revenge when it comes to betting games. I love fading revenge.
Yeah, no, I love betting revenge games because the team that wants revenge usually gets it. It's
Not
regular
always the case.
It's regular season revenge, and it's not the same thing as playoff revenge. But I mean, the Bears could come in here and they could really do some damage to the Eagles.
No doubt about it.
And they are a dangerous team, and you don't know what their quarterback situation is going to be like on November 3rd. Now, listen, if Chase Daniels is still the quarterback, then I think you've got an opportunity.
I think they can beat the Bears even with Trubisky. I think their offense
isn't very good, but again, Allen Robinson
lacks
can
big
still,
playability.
Oh, Allen Robinson can still.
Well, I
make
mean
some
that
big
game
plays.
is also 3 weeks away, so
Right.
I'm hoping that Darby and Mills, and maybe someone they trade for, Maddox is back.
Yeah, Maddox should
So
be back by
I'm
then.
I'm expecting
Still gonna
reinforcements
still
in
gonna
the
be
secondary
a very
by that
difficult.
time.
Still going to be a very difficult.
Then you have a
game, though.
bye week in Week 10, late bye week, which actually looks like it's going to work out. Then you have Seattle, New England, then Seattle at home.
Boy, those are two tough games. Hope for a split.
Hope for a split. So then we're at
I'm going to give them a split because
We're
I'm
at
going to
6
give them
and
I'm
5
going to
then.
give the benefit of the doubt and give them the split.
so
on
then
this
we're
game.
at 6 and 5.
Okay.
Then you're
Then
at Miami 7 and 5. You're home against the Giants. That is home
8 and 5.
8 and 5. At the Redskins 9 and 5. Dallas, you have that as a loss Sunday, so you can't get swept by Dallas.
No, they're not going to get swept by Dallas.
9 and 5. So that's 10 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And
you
the
have
Giants
at
again?
the Giant at
So
the
they
Giants.
could go 11 and 5 if they do exactly what we.
There's a path to 11
expect.
wins here.
There is.
There's a path to 11 wins here. So,
But again, the problem with the Eagles is that they've been so darn inconsistent.
I can't
That's the
disagree with you.
problem.
I can't disagree
with
with you.
Games that you would think that they should win and win relatively easily. They've turned. I mean, the Atlanta game is just looking worse and worse every week.
The Atlanta game's a horrible look.
Yeah, I mean that's
Horrible look.
That's a bad loss. No, I mean,
I said that when it happened, and everyone's starting to believe me now.
the Detroit game was a bad loss too.
It was bad the way it happened because they had all those drops and silly mistakes. But I mean, Detroit's up 14-0 in Lambeau right now.
No, I understand that, but they got off to an extremely slow start.
Well, they've gotten
And
all
had
the,
a- and had a
four
battle
of the 6
back.
games. They have no points in the first quarter.
Yeah, they've got to start They have to start battling, and they got to get off to good starts. I mean, I don't know what the problem with this team is. Why they can come out in the third quarter and kick ass, and take names. I don't know why can they do that?
Even the
and
second
yet
quarters,
first
they
quarter,
kind of right the ship. And,
yeah, but
and
why is it in the beginning of the games they come out so badly? I mean, that's coaching. Something about the game plan is wrong, and Doug is able to make adjustments, which is good. But why does Doug have to always be making adjustments during the game for them to come back and do something? I mean, why isn't he taking advantage of the other team? It seems like the other teams are taking advantage of the Eagles.
He's
in the first
playing
quarter.
catch up in the first half a lot.
Yeah,
and then he scrambles and makes a dumb decision to do that fake field goal because he's chasing.
But he wouldn't have to be. But he wouldn't
I
have to be
understand.
doing that if he.
I hear you, brother.
Yeah, they need to get out. Especially with the Cowboys, they need to not fall behind early. They can't be.
How about we take the
You
kickoff
can't be down. You can't be down.
instead of using stupid analytics and deferring so you get an extra possession? How about you take the ball first on the road and go down and get something?
Well, how about not being
But they
down
did
like,
that in the Lions game. They got 3 right off the bat, then they let up a special teams.
I mean,
they had a
how about
special
not
teams
being
misstep.
down like 13-3 at halftime? Because the way the Eagles have been playing, that's what's going to happen in this game. They're going to be down like 13-3
But
at
I'm just
halftime.
saying, especially with how the Cowboys have looked these last 3 games, if you take the ball first and go up 7-0 right away on Dallas, you don't tell me they're not talking themselves a little
the fans
bit.
The fans are going to be all over them
They're
and
gonna be booing the
yeah.
players. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I mean there could be some self-doubt. Absolutely. I mean, again, that's what happens when you lose 3 in a row. I just have a feeling that if if the Cowboys can't get up for the Eagles, that's really going to be a problem for them. And the same thing would go for the Eagles. If the Eagles can't get up for the Cowboys and have a strong beginning to this game, I mean, then when are they going to have a strong beginning? Because they should be so hyped up for this game and so ready and so emotionally
Both
intense
teams
and ready
really
for this
Need
game.
this game.
Yeah, they there's no reason why either one of them should get off to a bad start. I mean, listen, there's no secrets here, okay? These teams will play each other twice a year, every year, okay? Everybody knows what everybody's about, okay? As I said, no secrets. The Cowboys know about Zach Ertz. That's nothing new. They know all about Alshon Jeffrey.
Zach Ertz is in a coma right now.
Yeah,
He
well,
played horrible yesterday.
He needs to step up.
Horrible.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if it's because Carson's not targeting him. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe he's not in the game plan. I don't know, but
They
he's
call
gotta
him No
get-
Yak Zach for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to get him involved. It's ridiculous what's going on with him.
I mean, it definitely looked like the Vikings, kind of game plan heavy for him. But I mean, we need him to wake up. Like we need him to make plays.
Yeah, but
Somebody's
he's
got to
gotta-
make a play. Nobody's
last-
making
last
plays.
year we were
Nobody's
talking-
making plays.
Rob,
Somebody's got to make a play.
Last year we were talking about him in the same sentence as Travis Kelce. He needs to start.
He's
being
that type of player. But
I
he
know,
hasn't
but he-
played like that.
but he has to be.
I mean, I can't say he hasn't played like that this year. He's had some good games,
but he's got to be like.
he didn't have one of those games yesterday.
No. But I think the Vikings also keyed on him. And the Vikings do have a real good defense.
All right. They do. Solid team. If Kirk Cousins is going to keep the train on the tracks, they have a good team. Greg Milkovic checks in. What's up, fellas? Sorry for the late tune-in. I agree with the poll. Kind of have to win this game, so yeah, it's an agree for me. I mean, it's well said. They got to win this game. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's get into some baseball playoffs. These baseball playoffs have been something, Brad. They've been entertaining. They've been exciting. I've been glued to my TV. I've had a really great time watching them.
Some of these games have been mind-boggling. They really have. I mean
both wild card games were unbelievable.
Yeah, they were. They were. The Cardinals with a 10-run first inning in Game 5.
That was
against the
shocking. I
Braves.
was hoping for a better game there.
Yeah,
but
that was
good for
very-
them for winning.
Yeah, that was very disappointing.
Now, all indications are with Strasburg humming up 4-0 at home in the 5th that they're going to be up 3-0.
Yeah, unless St. Louis
One
can
game
get like
away
a
from the
6-run
World Series.
Yeah, unless they can get like a 6-run inning.
Didn't I say
and really
that?
Get it
Didn't
to
I
go.
say the winner of that wild card game would go to the World Series?
Yeah, you did. Actually, you did.
One thing about the Nationals, and I've heard it. Colin Cowherd said it today. A couple people on Facebook have said it as well. Bryce Harper not being on the Nationals this year has minimal to do with this run. Minimal.
No, it has nothing to do with this.
Minimal.
No, it's not. It's not. Listen,
Because Mike Rizzo is an excellent GM, develops players. He has Robles and Soto, who are 20s.
Robles isn't playing today. Isn't
He
playing
was in
right
there.
now. He's in there now.
He was
I
in
thought
there today.
I thought Michael A. is out
He
there.
didn't play. He didn't play last game.
Okay, but Michael A. isn't in there now.
No, not today.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I saw Robles. I think I saw him steal a base earlier.
Okay, but yeah, between Robles and of course Soto, who's an absolute beast, Rendon.
But that's what
Trey
happens.
Turner.
That's what happens when you develop
team.
talent. You don't have to spend $330 million on a position player. you can get the third piece to your rotation in Patrick Corbin for half the money. And you don't have to pay Soto or Robles, for a couple of more years. They're still under control.
They also had the opportunity to get Charlie Morton and didn't do it either.
Who's that?
The Phillies.
The Phillies?
Charlie
I'm not
Morton
talking about the Phillies. I'm talking about the lazy take that the Nationals are on the brink of being in the World Series
because
Harper's gone.
Nah, that has nothing to do with it.
I think that's ridiculous. And if you watch the Phillies this year, Bryce Harper was not the reason that the Phillies underachieved. They had an incompetent manager. They had some injuries, and
their starting
rotation
wasn't good enough. And the bullpen wasn't good enough either.
Right. I mean, I don't want to use. They got injuries, and thank God Kapler's gone. It took them long enough to make a decision on that.
Well, Clentac wasn't going to fire him. Middleton overruled.
And he shouldn't be here either. If he wants to hitch his wagon to a loser like that, he shouldn't be here either.
I don't think Clentac is a good general manager.
Neither do I. I tend to agree with you, but he did make significant improvements to the team last winter, and he did do what he could. He did what he could at the trade deadline. There's no reason to think that he won't be able to make some sort of a splash this winter as well. And
are they going to be able to sign? Listen, there's 3 pitchers right now. There are 3 starting pitchers.
No, I would bet
these Phillies should sign one of them. That is either if they become free agents, Bumgarner, Cole, and Charlie Morton.
See, I'm not. Charlie Morton only signed for 1 year in Tampa.
He signed for 1 year.
I mean, no, I don't think they're going to make. I think.
And I'm trying to think. There was one.
I would bet you green money that Cole Hamels is a Philly next season.
Yeah, but that's not going to be enough.
It's a lefty. It's going to help. Look, they're not going to sign Garrett Cole for 7 years, $240 million. I don't think that's smart. I think that's would be a good signing for maybe 3 of the year. With how hard he throws, I don't know if giving him a 7-year contract is the smartest. Jake Odorizzi is a guy that interests me.
Jake Odorizzi is going to be a free agent.
He is.
Yeah, he's going to be
a guy.
Free agent.
You need 2 starters if you're the Phillies.
But he's more of a second-tier pitcher.
Look, you have Nola. Arrieta's going to be here because he's not going to opt out of that ridiculous contract.
No, but Arrieta's not that good now. He's like a number 4 now.
Right. 4 and 5 are accounted for because I think Eflin can be good enough to be in the rotation.
But you need a legitimate 2 and 3.
Right, and I think it's going to be Cole Hamels, Zach Wheeler, potential free agent.
What about Minor? Did he sign an extension?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, not to my knowledge either. See, Mike Miter's another one that's going to be a free agent. Do you trust him to come to the National League and do the job? He was great in Texas, and in that ballpark, that's a hitter's ballpark. The fact that he was so good in that ballpark.
Mike Minor's also a lefty.
Yes, and they need a lefty.
Which is what they need as well. So you need 2 starters. If
Mike Minor would be cheap too. I mean, let's say you get Odorizzi and Minor. Okay, instead of spending all the money on
Hamels going to be on the Phillies next year.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
He's going to announce in spring training. He's going to sign. It's going to be his last season, and he's going to finish career as. But is he really going to be?
But is he going to be an impact player, or is he going to be kind of like?
He had a good season last year. I'm just saying, and he's a lefty, which is they need.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I would. I would like to.
Is he going to win the Cy Young next year? No, I don't think so.
I just like to see them shoot a little higher. Try to get a little bit better.
And you're going to have. I think Buck Showalter is going to be the manager of the team.
Well, if I were them, that's the guy I would target. If you're asking me between Dusty, Girardi, and Buck, I think Buck is the best manager out of the 3 of them. I mean, Buck,
but Buck will do well with sluggers like Harper and Hoskins.
Oh yeah, if you take a look at his teams in Baltimore, that's what he likes. But Buck's gonna want a bullpen,
and more importantly, he's gonna hold players accountable.
Oh yeah.
If Gene Segura doesn't hustle, he's gonna be right on the bench with a boot up his ass.
Yeah,
not getting a pat on the back from Mr. Cotter. Saying everything's going to be okay.
No, he's not.
Thanks for doing your best.
He's not, and that's the one thing. Buck will hold you accountable. He's not going to sit there and he's not going to say anything at the press conferences about it, but he will definitely. He will definitely.
That's
keep
fine.
These
I don't
guys,
care about press conferences. I watched 162 press conferences this year of just nonsense
Well,
positivity, how 12-pitch strikeouts set the tone for baseball games, mismanaging of the bullpen, just a sheer incompetence. And I don't want Kurt Schilling either. If Kurt Schilling wants to be our pitching coach, that's fine and dandy. But I already had a former player.
Has Kurt Schilling even managed at all?
No.
No, you don't want a guy
He wants
like
to get
that.
back in.
So let him be a pitching coach or let him manage a minor league team.
I would let him be the pitching coach for the Phillies, not the manager.
No, I would agree with you about that. But listen, Buck is going to get who Buck wants to get. But Buck didn't Buck have Kurt Schilling in Arizona?
Briefly, maybe.
Yeah, I think he did because the Phillies traded Kurt Schilling to Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, before he ended up in Boston. They traded him to Arizona because he did because they had him and Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
And
They won a World Series.
Yeah, Buck got fired the year before they won the World Series.
Yeah. It's happened a couple of times with him.
Poor Buck. It's always right.
He gets the team
right
there,
and then
someone
they let
else comes in.
Somebody else comes in and steals his thunder.
I like Buck. I want a baseball guy. I want an old school guy, and I want a guy who's going to hold the players accountable.
And he will do that. And
Dusty Baker doesn't. Dusty Baker doesn't excite me,
and he's very good.
And
he's very good at handling bullpens too. And he is very. When he was with the Yankees, and I know it was a long time ago, but when he was with the Yankees, he was very big on the lefties are going to pitch against the lefties, the righties are going to pitch against the righties. He loves matching up. So what he's going to, if he comes in, he's going to be telling
he's matching
Klentak,
up on common sense as well.
Yeah, he's going to be telling Klentak he wants some lefties and he wants some righties. They don't have to be great, but he wants some lefties who can get out lefties and righties who can get out righties. So he can mix and match and then have the one closer because that's his shtick. And it worked out real well in Baltimore. He had his closer was Britton and all the rest of the guys.
Yeah.
He had a bunch of guys. Darren O'Day and guys like that. Darren O'Day was death against righties. I'm trying to remember who he had against his left-handed matchup guy was. I can't remember.
In like those 08,
but that's
09
that's
Orioles teams.
Yeah, that's kind of where he the 10,
Well,
11, 12 teams.
I'm in on him.
Yeah, I mean
I'm in on Buck.
Yeah, I
it was
would
a little
think,
later than 08.
No, it was like between like 12 and 15.
Yeah.
That's when the Orioles were pretty good.
But I mean, we'll see how they do. I'm all in for Buck.
Yeah, I mean, Dusty is good too, but the problem with Dusty
I don't want Dusty, and I don't really want
now,
Joe Girardi, and it looks like Joe Madden's going to go elsewhere.
Dusty, I think is gonna. Dusty's 70 years old. And he's never won a playoff series.
But how about Kapler? Some of these teams, he's getting interviews. Kapler's getting interviews to manage in major leagues next year. Did they not watch the Phillies at all?
They must have not.
And the Cubs, Epstein is smart, and he's interviewing this guy. Like, what is he doing?
I don't know.
You got to be kidding me. If you hire this guy after his last 2 seasons in Philadelphia, you got to have your head checked.
You want my honest
got a
opinion?
hole
What's
in
going to
it.
happen? I think out of the guys that are out there, I think you're going to see Madden go to the.
Madden seems like he's going to go to the Angels.
Madden's going to go to the Angels. I think
Roscoe will be happy with that.
Yes, I think Madden goes to the Angels. I think that Girardi is going to go to the Cubs, and I think Buck is going to end up with either the Mets or the Phillies.
What about Mike Scioscia? Bob Brinkman brings up Mike Scioscia in the Facebook chat.
Does he want to manage again?
Good question.
I haven't heard his name at all. I've heard Hensley Mullins as possibly a manager of the Giants. I keep hearing his name.
The Marlins guy, Freddie Gonzalez from the Marlins. He's a local Philly guy. I would maybe keep your eye on that. Maybe
he could be a bench coach. I mean,
a lot of signs.
The Phillies need to get a real manager in here, a guy who's got some experience, a retread, if you will, but a retread who's actually been successful in other places, and they can handle this market, and can also
which is Buck.
Yeah, Buck can definitely do that. Buck is a good manager. Don't go by what happened with the Orioles. The Orioles just fell apart. They stopped drafting good players. They went and they paid all that money for Chris Davis, who turned into into the biggest albatross contract in the
Right, but that's not
major
Buck.
leagues. No, absolutely not. No, it was your guy McPhail,
who's
now in
he's
now in
idiot
Philly.
two. He's idiot two on the.
Yeah,
They got rid of idiot one, which was Gabe,
yeah,
and they're
Well,
gonna
they
they're gonna get a whole new
They have
coaching
three.
staff.
They have three idiots: him, Clintack, and
But Clintack's third on the idiot chart for me, in terms of the Phillies. At least in my opinion. I know
think
some
he's-
people disagree with me,
I think
but
he's number 2, and I think McPhail is number 3. But I think all three. I think all three of them.
I
need
mean
to be
McPhail,
out.
he's never done anything. He's just Middleton's buddy.
No, I realize that, but also McPhail was the one that was doing all the drafting for the Orioles.
Yeah,
when
ran him right
when-
into the ground.
Exactly. Yeah, he basically turned them into a complete shipwreck, dumpster fire, if you will. I mean, a train wreck. Excuse me. That team is just completely gone to pot.
They're horrible.
Yeah, and it's going to take them. It's going to take them years to get back. They're at least 2 to 3 years away. Their best pitchers right now are still in A and high A ball.
Yeah, they're screwed.
Yeah, they're
Because of him.
Yeah, and
But he's good enough to be our president of baseball operations.
yeah, he's not good.
But I don't understand how Middleton just totally bitches out and overrules him on Kapler, fires him. Yeah, McPhail wanted to keep Kapler. Clintack wanted to keep Kapler. And then the three idiots are up there in the press conference. You know, McPhail and Clintack are sitting right next to him about how they fired Kapler. Only one guy wanted to fire Kapler. Don't you?
I think Clintack I think Clintack really is the problem. I don't like him at all.
I don't know. Like, look,
But why is he so obsessed with bringing in ex-Yankees all the time? Robertson.
I don't know. I
Ro-
think that's just a coincidence. There's no.
Robertson. What's his name? Dice.
But like, you want to say the Phillies don't have any farm system? Like, that's okay. That's fine. They really don't. But you know, I think Baum's the third baseman next year. I think Hasley is a nice looking player in center field, and I think Kingery's finally going to get the full time job at second base. So you have three homegrown guys in your everyday lineup next year
That's a good
under
thing.
the age of 25.
Well, not only that, but they're also controllable young players that you don't have to pay any money to.
Well, Kingery's they already signed him up to one of those goofy deals.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did do that. All right. Well, I mean,
look, Kingery looks
you're not, but
okay.
you're not paying. You're not paying.
I don't think Kingery's ever
you're
going to
not-
make an all-star team. I don't think Kingery's ever going to win the MVP of the league. But I think
you're not
Kingery,
paying Hoskins any money. So I mean,
well, Hoskins doesn't deserve any money after the season he just had.
what about Cesar? What's his name?
Cesar Hernandez is slated to make $10 million next year. I'd be shocked if he's not traded over the winter
Boy,
for some.
I would let him go. He's not worth $10 million.
Well, they're going to trade him for something.
Yeah, I would. I would try to trade him because I think that there's guys that you can go after and sign that are better. I mean, there are some pretty decent. Listen, you don't have a Bryce Harper player out there. You don't have a
No,
Manny
not
Machado
this
type
season.
player this season. But it's loaded with pitching. And if I'm the Phillies, I go out and I try to get the best pitchers that I can. I would try to formulate
You need
a
two
plan.
starters.
Yeah, I would formulate a plan with a budget to try to get 2 starters and try to get a closer. I would really try to build that pitching.
Well, the guy
staff.
I like is Will Smith, the lefty. He's 30 years old. He closed for the Giants last year.
What about the guy that closed for the Pirates?
I mean,
Valdez.
he's kind of he's
Philippe,
in jail. He had all that child porn on his computer.
Really? I didn't know that.
he got pinched up.
Oy vey.
Yeah, he got jammed
Oh,
up.
I didn't know about that. Okay, never mind him. then.
Yeah,
But no, Smith on the Giants is he a
lefty.
free agent though?
Yeah,
He'd be a nice pickup.
yeah. That's what the Giants were
Yeah.
kind of in limbo with Bumgarner and Smith, who were expiring contracts,
That's
but
right.
they were.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about.
But they were kind of in it, but like they weren't in it.
They were in it because they didn't want to screw Bochy. That's
Right.
basically they didn't want to screw the pooch with that, and you can understand why. I
Ryan
mean,
Brodo checks in. Connor Barwin just announced his retirement. I mean, I'd like to have Connor Barwin on the Phillies. Maybe Howie can convince him to come back.
you mean
The
Eagles.
Phil's everyday players are okay. They need a good second arm and a closer, which is what we just touched on.
Yeah, they need to go out this winter.
But that's another thing that I have a problem with people who want to indict Clintack. Like, this team has talent. Like, this team has more than 81 win talent, even with all the injuries.
Yeah,
That everyday lineup should have won more than 81 games.
But the fact that he would endorse Gabe Kapler, to me, is a problem.
It's a huge problem.
I mean, he's just
there's no getting around it.
He's not. I mean, he's not seeing.
No.
It's like he's in the middle of the woods.
Because that's his guy, and that's the way they think with this analytics nonsense, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
You want to talk about analytic nonsense?
Let's get the teams that actually matter.
Let's talk about the Yankees last night.
This is going to be a great series.
Aaron Boone totally screwed up that game last night. Taking Chad Green out, who was just on fire and throwing the ball like a fiend, to bring in Adam Ottavino.
He's had a terrific season. Chad Green.
Yeah, Chad Green in April and the beginning of May was awful. He was god awful. Got sent to the minors, but you know what? He went down, kept his mouth shut, started pitching well again, and then came back up, and now he's been pitching.
He acted
great.
like a Yankee, and he acted like a professional, and
he
bettered himself, and is now helping you guys probably go to the World Series.
He got his crap together, and now he's pitching great. But Chad Green last night, if you guys were watching the game last night, Chad Green was going through Houston like a knife through butter, and for some reason, the idiot, also known as Aaron Boone, goes and brings in Adam Ottavino, who had a terrific season, but since the middle of August, he's been bad. And he starts with the analytical crap that, Chad Green gave up a double to George Springer in May in Houston, and Ottavino struck him out in July in Yankee Stadium. Well, guess what? You know what? That is bullshit, because you know what? Back when Green was facing him, Green was struggling. He wasn't pitching well. And you know what? Adam Ottavino, since the middle of August, has flat out sucked. I mean, if you take a look at how he pitched on Saturday, first of all, taking Masahiro Tanaka out after 68 pitches, what the hell was that? He's pitching a one-hit shutout, and you're taking him out after the sixth inning, and you're bringing in Ottavino, and Ottavino put two guys on base. And this was before the Yankees broke it open.
So what? He's thinking, because he's an analytics guy, that I only have 68 pitches with my game one starter. I can bring him back.
Okay, but you can't pitch in one more inning.
So you'd rather just let him go.
As far as I'm concerned, okay, the Yankees bullpen. Okay, Adam Ottavino would not be.
So I thought the Cardinals guy mismanaged Flaherty when they put up 10 in the first.
Yeah, I agree.
Been half watching, but it was 1-0. Then we looked back up. It was 4-0.
It's
somehow.
5. I think it's 5.
Now it's 5-0. Yeah, because
one run in 3 games right now.
I thought
the Cardinals,
when the Cardinals put 10 up in Game 5, I thought St. Louis's manager did a bad job managing Flaherty.
Yeah, I would have had him out after 3 or 4 innings,
and then had him pitch Game 2. Or even Game 1. You can't pitch him Game 1. You can't do it Game 1, but you can pitch him before Game 3.
Yeah, because you know what? At this point, if the series doesn't go 7, he's only going to pitch once.
Which is not good for the guy who was pretty unanimously
the best
pitcher, not only on the Cardinals.
He's one of the top pitchers in the National League.
Especially with the second half he had.
Yeah, he had a great second half.
So, and what was the score? Remind me about Game 1.
No,
they were up 5-0. They were up 5-0.
The Yankees were up. The
There's
Yankees.
More.
Yeah, now it's 6-0.
This is a rout.
The Yankees won the first game 7-0.
And they were up 5 when they took Tanaka out.
No, it's 3-0 when they took Tanaka out.
That's a little dicey.
He's
rolling the dice big time on that.
Ottavino put 2 guys on base, and then they got a double play.
And who pitched last night? Paxton.
Last night Paxton pitched 2 2/3 innings. His control was way off. He hadn't pitched in 8 days.
That's typical Paxton.
Yeah, and Paxton is a creature of habit. If he doesn't pitch, if he's not pitching right on his schedule, he gets all messed up. They bring in Green.
So can he go? Can Paxton go in game? Can Paxton go in Game 4 then?
No, he pitched 50 through 53 pitches. But I mean, Paxton obviously. I totally agree with Boone bringing in Green in the 3rd inning, because you had runners on 2nd and 3rd. and Alex Bregman was up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have no problem with you changing pitchers at that point because you know what? At that point, if Bregman gets a big hit, instead of 1-0, it's 3-0 or maybe 4-0, and you don't want to give up that many runs when Verlander is
Well, I
pitching.
think he also dodged a bullet letting Happ pitch in a big spot like that as well.
Well, he didn't dodge the bullet because he brought Happ in the 11th inning, and Happ gave up through one pitch and the game was over.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, I don't like Happ against the Astros at all. It's an awful matchup. He brings in Green. He
bought in Ottavino after
well,
Green.
But he didn't need to bring in Ottavino. Green was cruising.
Right.
Why are
well,
you
I'm just saying,
why
I got mixed up.
Green only threw 22 pitches. Okay.
Yeah.
There is no reason why he could have pitched. He couldn't. He got one out in the 5th inning. There's no reason why he couldn't finish the inning. And why you're bringing Ottavino into that game? He brings in Canely for 2 innings. Okay, and then why can't you let Britton pitch 2 innings? I mean, they're off tonight. They're not pitching tonight. You're telling me Canely pitches 2 innings, but Britton can't pitch 2 innings? I mean, that's ridiculous.
I mean, if I was Aaron Boone,
I think he did a terrible job last night.
It sounds like
I think he cost the Yankees the game. Now,
seemed
the
like that
hit.
he won Game 1 and was playing Game 2 like,
he was
not
trying
to lose, but
he-
it didn't really seem like he was managing the win.
No, he
seemed content potentially going back to New York.
No,
with
I
a
don't
split.
I don't think it's that as much as I just think that he has no feel for the game. He doesn't.
And he
it's not the
probably
it's not the eye test. He sits there and looks at his analytics, and that's what he does. It's just based on analytics. But you know what the thing is with analytics? If a guy isn't pitching well, if a guy's in a slump, okay, you can't bring him in a big spot. Okay, just because Chad Green gave up a home run to Springer in May.
No, I was
in
listening
May,
to
doesn't mean that he's going to give up a home run to him in October when Chad Green has been red hot and pitching great.
right. I mean, I was listening to the Dial this morning, and they had Larry Boa on, and he's probably the most anti-analytics person ever. I mean, you remember Larry Boa?
Yes.
He's tough as nails. He's a baseball guy.
Yes, I remember.
He's like,
when he was the third base coach for the Yankees, he almost got into a couple of brawls with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him. He's
You
a
love him.
real mean guy. You gotta love those kind of guys.
But he lays it out like this in terms of analytics. If Bryce Harper's 0 for 16 with 12 strikeouts, and you're in the playoffs, what are you gonna do? Sit down, Bryce Harper? No, you're gonna hit him. You're gonna hit him third, like he does every night.
You figure he's due, and he's gonna snap.
Exactly.
Just like
You don't drop him in the
just like
lineup. You don't bench him.
just like Giancarlo Stanton. Okay, he didn't really do that much against the Twins, but you put him in the middle of the lineup, and guess what? He had a home run on Saturday night. Now, unfortunately, he couldn't play yesterday. We'll see about him for Tuesday. I mean, I hope that the guy can play because he is a difference maker. There's no question about that.
Oh, absolutely.
But based on I think with this series, I think whoever wins tomorrow night wins the series. If the series goes back to Houston, the Yankees are going to have a problem.
Well, you got this 2-3-2 bullshit that I hate.
Oh, I agree. It's ridiculous, but it is what
So
it is.
the Astros get 6 and 7
yes,
in their house?
yeah, just like the World Series.
I understand home field advantage is a thing, and you should get rewarded for having a better record, but that's ridiculous.
Well, it should be 2-2-1-1-1.
Correct.
I mean, that's how normal. That's how every
because then you get
every
swing game and
every other league plays
potential
plays it like
game
that.
7 at home.
Right. But I mean, look, if you're gonna face Garrett Cole, face him in Yankee Stadium. Let's see what happens. If the Yankees beat the Astros tomorrow night, I think the Yankees.
What's your feel for that game?
I think the Yankees are gonna win. I think Garrett Cole is. I think Garrett Cole is only gonna give up a couple of runs, but I think you're gonna get 4 to 5 scoreless innings out of Severino. And then they're gonna turn the ball over to.
I think you need more than that at Severino with the way you used the bullpen last night, extra innings.
Yeah, but they're off today.
I get it.
They're off today.
I'm just saying, I'd
they're
feel
off.
way better at the game if he went 6 or 7, not 5 or 6.
Well, I mean, It depends on how many pitches he's throwing. I mean, he hasn't thrown more than 83 pitches in any game this year, so I don't see him throwing more than that many pitches, and we'll see how far he goes. But I mean, I would be okay if you can get him through 5, and then you get Canely for maybe 1 2/3, and then you get Britton for maybe 1 1/3, and then you go to Chapman. That's your 9 innings. I'm very confident in that those 4 guys. If you do that, I think that they can beat the Astros. I think they'll get Gary Cole out by the 6th inning, and I don't think their relief pitchers will be nearly as effective in Yankee Stadium as they are in Houston.
No, I'd agree with that. It's colder. It's going to be loud.
Yeah, and
you going tomorrow?
Wednesday.
You're going Wednesday.
If the game is played, I heard that there's going to be bad weather Wednesday.
Yeah.
But of course, I used some foresight, so I'm off Thursday. So if the game gets rained out Wednesday,
Yeah. So
even if I drive up to the Bronx Wednesday, I'll drive back Thursday because I'm off, and Bob is going to be going too. So we'll be fine. We'll get to game 4. And hopefully we'll see a victory. That's going to be a high-scoring game, by the way, because you're going to have Urquidy pitching for the Astros, and the Yankees will probably use Chad Green as the opener. So, and God only knows who else is going to pitch that game. But as long as they keep Jay Happ on the bench, I like their chances to win. Jay Happ, I am very down on him. I don't want to see him in any way, shape, or form against the Astros. He pitched against them once this year in Yankee Stadium, and he got rocked. And you can look it up in July. The Yankees had won the first 3 games of that 4-game series against the Astros, and Jay Happ pitched the Sunday game against Verlander, and he gave up 9 runs. So, I mean, he pitched against Verlander, and the Yankees actually scored 4 runs against Verlander that game. So, I mean, Verlander is not unhittable against the Yankees.
All right. Let's get to our early leans, our way too early preview of this weekend's college football games. College ball.
By the way, how about Georgia?
Yeah.
What a disappointing loss.
They're going to have their chance to get back up in the play. If you have 1 loss and you win the SEC, you're going to get in the playoff.
Yeah, but that's not.
They didn't do
but if they're gonna,
any
but if they're gonna
favors,
lose, that's not.
But how about LSU? I mean, they beat Florida and they have a win over Texas, and they look really good.
Yes.
Burrows is really good. I know Jake's in the chat right now. I know he's a big LSU guy, but they're the best team in the country. I don't even think it's even close. That's going to be quite a game. They play Bama in a few weeks.
Yeah, and
it's going to be quite a game.
Clemson's been on the edge a couple of times now this year.
But there's really only one game this weekend with playoff implications in it, and that's the Michigan Wolverines are going to travel to Happy Valley, take on Penn State. Both teams have 1 loss. Both teams will be ranked. I think Penn State's really going to get it done. The spread's 7.5.
Michigan's not that good.
And Michigan really put it on Penn State last year.
Yeah, Michigan
embarrassed them.
Yeah, I know they did. You know what? I don't think Michigan's not that good. Michigan almost lost to Army.
Penn State's defense is for real.
Yeah, I know they are, and
they're really good.
The fact that Michigan almost lost to Army, who is a one-dimensional team that runs on every play. I mean, come on, you're Michigan. How do you almost lose to Army? I mean, am I wrong about that?
No,
I mean, Army's a good team. They're a nice spunky team, but I mean, they're a military academy. They don't have a quarterback they don't have an NFL quarterback. There's no NFL players on that team. Okay.
And then Ohio State hasn't really been tested yet, but they're gonna be tested. They're going to play Penn State. They're going to play Michigan. They're going to play.
They're not going to get a free ride.
Wisconsin, and they're going to have to play the Big Ten. Probably play Wisconsin twice.
I think Wisconsin plays Northwestern this weekend, right?
Ohio State plays Northwestern.
Oh, Ohio State plays. Okay, that's on Friday night, isn't it?
That's correct.
That's going to be a big game. Any feel of that game at all?
I mean, I'm trying to look for the spread here. It's probably still in week 8. I hate this app, how they lay out the college games. Stupid.
Yeah, that's going to be it.
Ohio State's favored at Northwestern by 28. So
by 28? That's a lot of points. Northwestern's not bad.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, but Ohio State, they just have.
Well, Ohio State does have.
They're just a different breed.
Athlete.
That quarterback they got from Georgia, Fields.
Yeah,
he's really good.
How about Oklahoma?
They play West Virginia this week. They shouldn't have a problem. A big win over Texas in the Red River rivalry.
That was a big win for them.
They should go undefeated, and they should make the playoff. I tuned in late. Did you guys have predictions on Eagles-Cowboys? Yes, I think the Eagles are going to win.
Yeah, and
I think it's going to be low scoring.
I think it's
Brad likes
I think the
Dallas.
Cowboys are going to win, and my only reason that I'm picking the Cowboys is because I just can't see them losing 4 in a row.
All right, let's get into some Week 7 early leans. Thursday night, the Kansas City Chiefs travel to Denver. Kansas City, a road favorite, laying 3.5.
I'll take the Broncos in the 3.5.
I'm going to reluctantly take the Chiefs. Same logic that you have with the Cowboys. I don't think the Chiefs are going to lose 3 straight.
I would agree with you. I just don't think they're going to cover. 3.5, I think, is too many.
Miami travels to Buffalo. Buffalo, a whopping 17-point favorite coming off the bye.
Buffalo will have no problem with
I
that.
guess. I mean, I don't really see Miami scoring a point there. So
No.
I guess I'll take
Buffalo will
Buffalo there.
score.
I hate
Buffalo.
laying that many points.
Yeah, I would take Buffalo in that game.
The AFC South, the Houston Texans, big win over the Chiefs. They're going to travel to Indianapolis. Big division game here in the South. Indianapolis, a slim 1-point favorite at home.
I like Indy. I don't think I think Houston. I think Houston had a big win last week. I don't know that they can play.
Both of these teams recently beat the Chiefs in their last game. Indy had the week off this week, but they beat.
Well, they have 2 weeks to prepare. I think Indy wins this game. Houston went into Indy last year, did they not? And broke their losing streak and won that heartbreaking game against Andrew Luck and the Colts last year.
In the playoffs.
No, in the regular season. Don't you remember?
Well, the Colts beat
The Colts
Texans
beat the Texans in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But the Texans did beat the Colts in Indianapolis last year when they were 0-3 to make themselves 1-3. I think
Okay,
Indy
that
wins.
was a long time ago. I'd have
That's
to look.
true.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I think Indy wins the game.
All right, Arizona travels to the Meadowlands. The Giants, a standard 3-point favorite.
I like the Giants. I think Danny.
I'm a
Dimes
Kyler
comes
Murray
back.
guy. 2 young quarterback. I'm a Kyler Murray guy. I'll take +3.
Well, I think Barkley is going to be back. Ingram's going to be back.
That helps a
Shepard's
lot.
going to be back.
That helps
and,
a lot.
Gallman's going to be back. So the Giants are going to have all their weapons back again, and that's huge because they,
Jeez.
Jesus, this game is just completely.
Wow.
Is this the Yankees and the Twins,
7-0.
or is this the Cardinals and the?
All right,
This looks like
Oakland.
the Yankees and the Twins this game.
How about the Raiders, Brad? 3-2, big win in London over the Bears. They're traveling to Lambeau. 6.5-point dogs.
Oh, the Raiders are going to get spanked.
Do you think they're going to get
They're
spanked?
gonna
The
get spanked.
Packers are down 13-10 at half on Monday Night Football.
Okay, well the Packers are home. They're going to spank Oakland.
You have the Rams traveling to Atlanta. 2 teams that are kind of reeling here.
The Rams get it back together again and win. Must-win game.
I'm
going
going to take the 3 here.
must-win game for the Rams.
I'm going to take the 3 here. I'm going to take Atlanta at home. I don't think the Rams are that good. I don't think Atlanta's good, but I don't think the Rams are that good either.
They got a good defense though.
I mean, okay. I mean,
I just think it's about time the Rams are due to have to play a Rams type game.
Minnesota travels to Detroit. That game is currently a pick'em.
At home, Detroit at home. I take Detroit.
Jacksonville, Cincinnati.
Jacksonville. I don't
yeah.
care where it is.
They're -3 on the road. Cincinnati, I agree with you.
Yeah, Cincinnati's garbage.
The Niners. Best team in football, the Niners?
I'm
I
not
think
ready
they
to
are.
go there yet.
I think they're the best team in football.
They look pretty darn good though. Who are they playing?
They play the Redskins. They're laying 10 on the road. I mean, I'm
Doesn't matter.
not picking this. I'm not picking
I
the
wouldn't.
Skins.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I'd take the 49ers. I
The
think they'll win by 2
Chargers
touchdowns.
traveling to Tennessee. Tennessee is a 2-point favorite. I mean, just saying that matchup out loud makes me want to throw up.
You know what? Those are
Nothing
2 teams
excites me about that game at all.
Those 2 teams are impossible to figure out. I mean, didn't Mariota get benched this week?
Yes, Ryan Tannehill came in relief. Yes.
That's a very bad sign. And San Diego, excuse me, the Los Angeles Chargers just don't seem to get.
They stink. I'm out on
Yeah.
the Chargers.
Yeah,
I'll take the Titans at home.
Yeah, I take the Titans at home too.
I'm out on the Chargers. It's the same team every year. It's the same story every year. Loads of talent, well coached, look great on paper, and then they spit the bit.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Every team, every time.
Yeah,
A
that's
couple
pretty
barn
much it.
burners next Sunday at 4:25. The Baltimore Ravens travel to the Seattle Seahawks. That's a big game.
I like Seattle.
Seattle's -3.5. That's a tough one.
You know what? I would take the Ravens in the points.
I'll take the
I'll take the points.
I'll take those points.
Yeah, I'll take the points.
And then you have the Saints traveling to Chicago. New Orleans been on fire. Their defense is the real deal, which I didn't see coming at all.
I know it is.
I didn't see that coming at all.
You know what? I'll take the Saints.
So you take the Saints +3 in Chicago.
Yes.
Doesn't look like Mitchell Trubisky's going to be able to play in that game.
Yeah,
I can't disagree.
I'll
You
take the
take
Saints
the-
because you know what? The Saints will force turnovers. They'll get field position and they'll grind out. Listen, the Saints won in Seattle, for God's sakes.
They did.
I
That's
mean,
Seattle's only loss.
Yeah, and they beat Jacksonville.
Beat Jacksonville.
I mean, they beat all the good defensive
They could have played
teams.
100 quarters in that game, and Gardner Minshew and the Jaguars wouldn't have scored.
No,
At
the
all.
The Saints have a great defense. And
I mean,
boy,
Lattimore, he shut down Cooper. He shut out Evans.
I mean, look,
That
you-
was a fantastic season.
You have to look at the Saints this way, okay? When Drew Brees went out, everybody said, "You know what? The Saints are done." But meanwhile, what do? They've won every game that since Brees went out. What do they won? 3 in a row, 4 in a row. They're 5-1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and Brees was supposed to miss 6 to 8 weeks, and
Yeah.
He's been out for 5 now. So
Yeah, their only loss is that game that
the Ram game.
he left.
Right. Right. So at this point he's probably got another
I can't remember who
he's-
they played week 1.
Texans.
That's right. They won at the buzzer.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the Texans, but they just have they have the it factor, and when they get Breeze back, I mean the fact that they're winning these games with Bridgewater, what's that tell you about what's going to happen when Breeze comes back? Because when Breeze comes back, they're going to be scoring a lot of points again. Okay, and with that defense, I mean, good luck trying to beat that team.
All right, we talked about it ad nauseum, but the Eagles go to Big D. Dallas a standard 3-point favorite at home. I'll take the Eagles +3. I think they'll win the game.
I would take the points because I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Dallas is going to
And
win
then
the game.
Monday night, the Patriots travel to the Jets. Patriots, I'll take the 9.5 points for the Jets at home.
Yeah, you know what? I think the Jets will cover with
I don't know.
Sam Darnold playing. Sam Darnold's playing, and especially if Mosley's playing, I'll take the points.
All right, there you have it. There's our early leans. That'll do it for the Sports Hounds tonight. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Thanks for listening. Have a nice week.